First of all, I would like to commend my colleague, Deputy Kathleen Funchkin, for bringing forward this very important motion. I mean, she and indeed Sinn Féin have consistently called for immediate investment in the childcare sector in Ireland in order to ensure its viability, reduce the burden on parents, and to acknowledge and properly pay professionals within the childcare sector, and indeed to keep facilities open, as many are finding it hard to do so. I mean, the childcare fees in Ireland are the highest in Europe, and they continue to rise. And I know there was a commitment in the programme for government last year, but they are continuing to rise since that. And couple that with the high cost of living, it's impossible for the ordinary working family to make ends meet. I mean, according to a UNICEF report in June gone by, Ireland, New Zealand and Switzerland have the least affordable childcare for the middle classes. And we have couples on an average wage are paying between a third and a half of their wages for 2 children in childcare. I mean, I can recall when my own 2 children were young and in a creche, I was paying €300 a week at that time towards the cost of their care so that I could go to work. And then, luckily, it was only for a few months because the way they were spaced, my eldest could go into the ECCE scheme, which was, at that time was only a 1-year programme. But even with that, the cost of sending the 2 children to be cared for in what was an excellent facility, I have no complaints about that, but it was my biggest outgoing at the time. And fees have increased since then, along with the cost of everything else, but wages haven't. And it has to be addressed, or otherwise we're going to see many people having no choice but to give up their work and abandon pursuing career choices. And we know that this is going to predominantly affect women. I mean, within the sector itself, highly qualified professionals are being paid a pittance. I mean, most professionals in this sector are earning less than the living wage, and yet many of them have level 7 or level 8 qualifications. And if they feel strongly they're not being treated right, they're not being treated with respect, and they're not being acknowledged as educators. The turnover of staff is extremely high, as the work is hard and it can be stressful and the pay is dreadful. And it's not fair on the childcare professionals, but it's not fair on the children either, who develop attachments to staff. I mean, there is a capacity issue, which I've raised with you before, Minister, as well, in some sectors. And childcare providers are now unable to cope with the demand because the staff turnover, again, is so high. I also highlight a fact that was brought to my attention, that there's no preschool in all of West Cavan that has an ASD or facilities for children with additional needs. And, you know, it's a large county, and it means people have to travel long distances to get the assistance that they need. And it's good, Minister Rao, that you're here as well, so I can raise the issue with you. I just urge support for the motion.